Britain has determined which military units it can send to Ukraine and is ready to quickly redeploy troops if peace talks are successful, Bloomberg reports. Defense Secretary John Healey announced that the UK has updated its plans to send troops to Ukraine as part of the so-called Coalition of the Willing, a group of countries led by the UK and France that support Ukraine. The UK Armed Forces Command has determined the contingent to be sent and the location of their headquarters. According to him, the plans will be finally agreed upon with other coalition members, taking into account Ukraine's needs and adjusted depending on the terms of any peace agreement. These plans mean that when peace comes, we will be ready, Healey said, adding that the plans include the possibility of introducing British troops into Ukraine to secure that peace in the long term. He added that Britain was preparing to spend more than £100 million or $130 million to cover the initial costs of sending its troops to Ukraine. Plans include creation of a coordinating group under the leadership of a British officer, providing logistics, weapons, and training experts to the Ukrainian military, airspace patrols, which will allow the resumption of normal international air traffic, expansion of the task force in the Black Sea to clear mines and ensure the security of sea routes to and from Ukrainian ports. It is worth noting that one of the points in the US peace plan is the requirement not to deploy NATO troops in Ukraine. Planned deployments would be positioned far from the front line to safely support the process of restoring Ukraine's military capabilities and infrastructure. The UK is providing Ukraine with more than $17 million for energy system repairs while also imposing a ban on maritime imports of Russian LNG, increasing economic pressure on Moscow. The UK is also urgently deploying specialists and defense equipment to Belgium following a series of drone incidents that disrupted airports and military facilities. Over the past week, drones have repeatedly been spotted over Brussels and Liège airports, causing major air traffic disruptions. Chief of the Belgian Army General Staff Frederik van Zijne has ordered troops to shoot down suspicious drones, but only safely, that is, without any collateral damage. Similar incidents have also been recorded in Sweden, where airports were temporarily shut down. In Germany, authorities are already considering a possible link between the drone activity and discussions surrounding the use of frozen Russian assets held by the Belgian financial institution Euroclear to fund a loan for Ukraine.
Under the new version of the peace agreement proposed by Russia and the United States, the front lines in Zaporizhia and the Kherson region will be frozen, but the aggressor will still return some territories to Ukraine. Meanwhile, the United States will apparently officially recognize Crimea and Donbass as part of the Russian Federation, according to Axios, citing a well-informed American official. According to the publication source, by proposing that Kyiv cede the remainder of Donbass, the White House is assuming that Ukraine will lose this territory anyway if the war continues. Therefore, it is in Ukraine's interests to reach an agreement now, he said. As Axios reports, despite the fact that the Donbass territories will be under Russian control according to the peace plan, they will be declared a demilitarized zone, and Russia will allegedly be unable to deploy troops there. As for the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions, which Putin also included in the Russian constitution, the lines of control there will be largely frozen. It is also reported that Russia will return control of part of the territory to Ukraine, subject to negotiations. However, it is not specified which territories are involved. It should be noted that Russia controls parts of the Dnipropetrovsk, Kharkiv, and Sumy regions, which the Kremlin has not yet formally laid claim to. According to the plan, the United States and other countries will recognize Crimea and Donbas as sovereign territory of Russia, but will not require this of Ukraine. One source, who spoke to reporters, said Zelensky authorized National Security and Defense Council head Rustem Umerov to negotiate with Trump's special representative Steve Witkoff, and that many of his comments were apparently included in the text of this peace plan. However, an unnamed Ukrainian official stated that Umerov only spoke verbally with Witkoff and did not receive a written document containing peace proposals. This official also stated that Ukraine objects to many points in this plan and wants to discuss a peace agreement with the participation of its European partners. Now we'll wait. The ball is in Zelensky's court, the American official said, suggesting that the Ukrainian president might come to Washington to discuss the proposals. As reported, Western media reported that the US and Russia have developed a new draft peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia, which is suspiciously similar to the demands the Kremlin made at the outset of the war. The plan was reportedly developed by special envoys of Trump and Putin, Steve Witkoff and Kirill Dmitriev. The peace plan contains 28 points in total and provides, in particular, for the disarmament of Ukraine, the transfer of Donbas to Russian control, and the granting of official status to the Russian language and the Russian church in Ukraine. According to media reports, the Ukrainian army is expected to withdraw from the entire Donbas, and the Ukrainian armed forces numbers and combat readiness will be reduced. Concessions are also expected from Russia. Trump's plan apparently obliges Russian troops to return some of the territories they captured in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. Furthermore, Ukraine may be offered some kind of U.S. defense guarantee in exchange for concessions regarding its own military capabilities. At the same time, on the Ukrainian side, the concessions expected by the Trump administration are politically toxic and directly run up against their red lines. Americans may argue that, given the unfolding of events, Ukraine's loss of Pokrovsk is only a matter of time. But Ukrainians will inevitably find such predictions dangerous, defeatist, and disrespectful to the sacrifices made by their army. If Ukrainians are so sensitive about Pokrovsk, one can only imagine what they mean when they talk about losing the entire Donbas.